Good evening, good evening. Hello, noble ones. Hey, Big Mac Smith, good to see you here. Hello on Twitch as well. Hello, Legetu and St. Nicholas, good to see you. No problem, Dan, good to see you here. Which culture team are you a fan of? I used to like AC Milan when I was younger, now I don't really follow it. Just for national, when there is a national cup, I'll support Italia. Hello, Metatron from Greece, hey Space Void. Oh, we got a problem with the connection here. Let me fix it very quickly, I know exactly what it is. Okay, that should fix it. Yes, good stuff. Okay. Sometimes it's the antivirus, that's what it is. Hey, Skewen. Hello from Algeria. Hello, Jay Kapowitz. Good to have you here. Thank you for joining the stream. I think you should finish your history degree, Vlad, and then you can also add something practical, like you say. Why not both? Thank you, Bokyo, for the donation. I appreciate that. As I always say, there we go, wait, I'm gonna show you. As I always say, where is it? As I always say, the Swift Assassin, considering my name is Metatron, I can only do a Holy Fans, and that's where it's gonna stay. Longsword for me. I'm not a huge rapier fan, I'll be honest. My wife loves the rapier, it's her favorite sword. Hello from Australia, hey Mark. Thank you, Daniel, for the donation, appreciate your generosity. What are your thoughts on Atlantis? Mostly mythological, I mean, I think it's mythological, and whether or not there is, I mean, the only thing I will be open to consider is the fact that perhaps the myth may have some roots in the very ancestral past when it comes to like the collective memory as a species of maybe an area that was submerged, you know, an early reminiscent story that was told, maybe even in connection with Pangea, I don't know. Then I could be like, yeah, it's possible that it's rooted into something. But the idea of Atlantis as a highly technological place in the modern sense, I don't believe in it. But I'm open to the possibility that the idea of a submerged civilization or island that once existed and then it's gone, and maybe one day we'll find it. I'm open to that possibility, yes. Hey, Mr. Bra. Thoughts on Freda's video about you, Shad and Lindy? Absolutely, I'm making a response video. Give me a couple of weeks and the video will be up. It will be thoroughly debunked. A bit easy though, I was hoping for a bit more challenge. You just made it so easy with the lies that at the end of the day, I mean, it is what it is. It will still be entertaining for you. Adonis, thank you for the support, appreciate that. Linguist J. Marvin Brown stated, open quotes, when I speak Thai, I think in Thai. When I speak English, I think only in thought. I pay no attention to English. As a non-native English speaker, do you experience a similar phenomenon? No, I think in English when I speak English. I think in any language I use. So right now I'm thinking in English. There is no other language in my head. And then, but if I switch and start talking Italian to my wife, because she's practicing it, so I try to speak to her a bit more, then I immediately switch back to thinking in Italian. If I speak Japanese, I would... Sometimes it takes a couple of minutes, by the way. I don't know if it's like a little bit of a adaptation, like I'm kind of slow. Say if I switch to Japanese, I mean, I could do it because I trained it. But to reach peak performance, it might take me a couple of minutes of constantly speaking to get back to it. Thank you so much, Jasper, for being here and being a member, and also for the Metatron membership. I appreciate that. Thank you for your support. Yeah, Identity of the Byzantine. It could be interesting. I'll look into it. Of course, the series on the ethnogenesis, I'm going to lower the volume a little bit, is continuing because it's going well. And I'm very happy about it because that's an old school core type of video. And so I really appreciate the fact that it's going well, and that allows me to continue producing them. And so, yeah, we'll continue it. Definitely. Doing well, thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Indebted. I hope you're not indebted because of this, but I appreciate for the $50. It's so generous of you. Thank you very much. And Ray, you are my man. Always, thank you so much, man. So let me read this. What style of helmet did Alexander most likely wear? Also, best way to start learning Latin for a native English speaker. Really enjoy the content, brother. To be honest, if you're an English speaker, then I would suggest you to just check out the channel Polymathy and Scorpio Martianus by my friend Luke Ranieri. If you're not familiar, I'll give you a link, but I imagine you might be, because he gives excellent, he basically will respond. He's got a lot of videos dedicated to this that go very deeply into the idea. But in general, with any language that you want to learn, it doesn't matter if it's a dead language, if it's a living language, if it's a modern or ancient language, it doesn't matter. Whatever language you're trying to learn, you should use it and speak. Anyone who tells you don't speak from day one, they're wrong. Automatic. You need to try and speak and say anything. You see a word, you're like, how do you say mobile phone? As it's like telefonino. Well, we don't really say telefonino. This is a smartphone anyways. But you know what? We pretended that I had an actual mobile phone. And why pretend? I'm a collector. What the heck do I need to pretend for? Imagine that I have this, right? And I want to learn, how do you say? And I read it, and in Italian it's telefonino, in Chinese is shouji, in Japanese is ketai. Yeah, I need to say it. If you just read it, you will never learn it. You've got to say it out loud, possibly multiple times, and in fact go and tell someone. So if you're learning any of these languages now, of course you're not going to have a word for telefonino, for mobile phone in Latin, although some neologisms do exist. Yeah, go and tell someone. Like if I didn't know that this is shouji and I wanted to remember it, I would go tell my wife. I would be like, hey, do you know how to say this in Mandarin? It's shouji. That already creates a memory, and it's a good way to do it. Tell people about what you're learning. Once again, thank you very much for the $50. I really appreciate that. When it comes to the helmet of Alexander, there are a few possibilities. There are some really gorgeous Macedonian helmets, the ones that are painted in red and green with an open face. I would imagine something like that. I'll see if I can find an image later. But thank you for the support again. Very generous. Demon, thank you for the $3. Giovanni Pinazza, that's very Italian. Thank you. Thoughts on the Mafia game having a Sicilian language mode you could react when it comes out? My father is from Palermo, like me. So it feels like my child. You're a huge fan, thanks. Thank you so much. Yeah, I can see. Very Italian name. Yeah, I've already made a reaction to the trailer of Mafia, the Old Country. And I'm really looking forward to it. The split second it comes out, I'll be playing it. I think it would be great if they speak Sicilian. It would be interesting to see what type of Sicilian they use. Professor Chim, thank you for the support. Take on Great Flood, personally local mytho-historical, Elden location candidates, theistic evolution, intelligent design, etc. Also, I'm gladly buy your faith journey book if you ever write it. I will write it. As I say, if I feel that that's something that it's in his will. But in general, yes. So I am making a video on the flood. I'm hoping to be able to post it this month, possibly before the 20th is my goal. We'll have to see. The reason is that on the 10th, so in 2 days, I'm going to launch my plushie, as you probably guys know. And then the whole thing, it's a limited edition. So we will sell all the plushies out, and then it will be out of production. And it's going to last 21 days. So within the 21 days, because I post daily, I have 21 slots when I can mention it. And so I do want to have videos that I think will perform well, so that I can put the plush in it and get a higher range. And so yeah, the Great Flood will happen within this span of time. So I do believe that it's there might be, as I was saying before, like I made a video on Sodom and Gomorrah and discussed the possibility of a cataclysmic event that inspired the idea behind it. because it's found in several scriptures, and that's because I try to do a secular approach, because I'm a man of faith. But if I'm producing a video for the general public, I don't think, unless it's a video about doctrine, I think it would be incorrect and inappropriate for me to tell you, oh no, I believe it because of faith. Well, yes, I do, but I'm not making the video for myself. I'm making a video for you. And so I prefer to look at it from a secular standpoint, put the faith on pause for a moment, and try to look at it from a simple, an actual secular standpoint. And so I'm like, okay, so how can this be justified? Is there any way? And so we do cross-reference between Akkadian, Sumerian, Hebrew, and lots of other ideas. Likewise, we're doing the same thing with the Great Flood. Was there some kind of, again, natural disaster that occurred a long time ago that stayed within the memory of the species and then found its way into the holy books? That could be the idea. So we'll have to see into that, but thank you very much. MJS, thank you for the support. What was the most difficult part of the process of immigrating to America? Well, of course, it has a financial burden, but then one usually, you can do it in like, you can pay it in installments if it's a bit of a problem. So there is that. It probably cost me about $7,000, the whole thing, but it took a few years so to pay for it. And then what would I say was the difficult part? Yeah, I mean, I had to do a lot of documentation, so that was annoying, filling in a lot of stuff, but the immigration lawyer helped a lot dealing with that. And then, yeah, we had to build up all of the proof that our relationship, because it was a marriage visa, right? For a change of status, that we had to prove that the marriage was real. So we had to have all the pictures and all the trips together, and we had to actually demonstrate and build a solid. That's how you do it, because of course there are sometimes people that try to trick the system, and they will pretend to marry you because you want to immigrate, and then you pay them money, and then you divorce after a few years. There are people that do this, so the immigration usually tries to verify the validity of the marriage and the relationship, so that we had to take care of that. It was a little stressful, but apart from that, I think the immigration process, it was a process, okay? But once I got that green card, it was great. Thank you, Norm. Why were Japanese bows so long if samurai were horse archers originally? Did samurai fight more like dragoons, where they ride to a spot, dismount, fight, and move on? Yes, in some cases, yes. But then again, both exist, right? Because you have to imagine that the bow was also used by archers, actual infantry, and even all the way up to who were stationed behind the tates, or the stationary shield. They would be deployed behind the shield, a bit like the Genoese crossbowmen, if you think about it. It's a similar tactic. And so the bows were used by archers as well, and archers keep being used even all the way up to the development and mass production of the Tanegashima Teppo arquebuses. And so even in that point, you shouldn't imagine that all archers are removed and replaced by gunners. No, you have a ratio, which I think it was 1 for every 4 units of archers. 1 will be a gunner unit, something like that. And of course that varies depending on the clan. So I think the length of the bow, it's a long bow, so even medieval longbows were taller than the archer. They were always long. It's called Yakuza. I don't remember the word now for mounted archery, believe it or not, in Japanese. Goodness gracious, how did I forget that? I guess I don't use it very... Yakuza Bume? I don't remember it, whatever. Yeah, I don't know if the specific archers used by the samurai, because they did use it on horseback. They did. Although they could also dismount if needed. I wonder if there are differences in sizes. I'll have to double check that. Hello, Veronica. Did you have the opportunity to start on watching my debunking videos? Not yet, sorry. Too long to watch the entire things if they don't catch your attention. Oh, they're very long. I'll have to see. Lately, with the second channel exploding, I've been diverting a lot of resources, including time, which is a valuable asset when it comes to content creation, onto the second channel, because it has become the breadwinner. Believe it or not, right now I can't complain. The main channel is doing really well, also thanks to you guys. Your support is precious. I really appreciate that. But the main channel, as you know, has gone down recently, while the second has gone up. And so right now the second channel is the breadwinner, even though it has a 1/10 of the subscribe base. That's the new algorithm for you. What can I say? It's a constant struggle for survival here. Oh my gosh, in 20 minutes window to 1 hour and 40 minutes. Well, that's transformative, Veronica, absolutely. Very cool. A bad video I should do a response to. It's called How Racism Was Invented in the Middle Ages by YouTuber Fred. Well, that guy is... that guy is... But thank you. I am already... So due to the response... I'm going to write it down. But due to the response... Not response, but due to the video, the hit piece that he made on me, Shad, and anyone who doesn't align with his cult, but because that's what it is. Due to that video, now is on my radar. So I'm reviewing his entire channel, apart from the gaming section, which I'm not interested in. So yeah, I am looking forward to any... I'm just going to create a second document here where we're going to put anything that you guys can give me. But yeah, now he's on my radar. So I want to review his content with a fine comb. It doesn't surprise me, though, that he made that kind of video. He's an ideologue. He's an ideologue with a cultist mentality. It's so clear. I mean, you can just see the beginning. You'll see. I've already written, like, I don't know how many pages, but I've already written a lot of pages for the debunking response video that I'm producing to respond to his lies. And you will see in the first... He self-owns in the first 60 seconds. It's an absolute joke. Anyways, he's not the only YouTuber we're going to discuss today, because you see, after this part where we talk and have a good time and I read your comments and all that, later I've prepared a tab, and I'm gonna be transformed into the alchemist. We're gonna have some alchemical power tonight, and among the people that we will read, there'll be a few haters we're gonna read and laugh at, but one of the people we're gonna laugh at is a YouTuber. Yeah, because I just saw a comment of him, and I'm like, okay, if you're gonna go public like that and say stuff like that, you want to start a war? Let's start a war. So today we add one more for the Metatron's crusade, guys. Again, no harassment, please. We laugh at him. We make a response video later. That's sufficient. A plushy Sicilian, absolutely, my friend. You know, in the last 2 days, I had to block 15 people off the channel. 15. It's insane. People are getting nuts these days. The decency is becoming rarer and rarer. Yeah. Objectivity is always key. I agree. Absolutely, the Lady Cara, you're absolutely right. Hello from England, hey Grizzly Gaz. How are you doing? What is? I don't know what we were... Eden. I don't know what we were... Eden. I don't know what we were talking about, Nicholas. Oh, Schiavone is a cool sword. I like Schiavone, I do, but I prefer... I'm a sucker for the tuck. Like the medieval tuck. Or stocco, if you prefer. Estoc, whatever. I don't know why that sword has so many words. I'm hoping... Mostly late 15th century, though. I'm hoping to be able to get one from Albion. You know, we'll see how it is later on this year. Well, I mean, if the plushies sell really well, I might get an Albion, among other things. And first is provide for the family. But if there is a little extra, you know, what do they call it? Disposable income. If there is a little disposable income, I'm not against the idea of going into a nice medieval sword from Albion. I'll be honest with you. It's still a write-off. Yeah. There we go. Shark. Hey Metatron. Out of the people you have made response videos to, who was the most disingenuous? A guy that I prefer not to mention, because I decided I don't want to give him anyways. Since I think you're familiar, it's the one that is bad and has the name of a Mexican food. That was the worst. But I decided I do not want to give him, because I researched him. I researched him deeply. And I saw the kind of stuff he said. And I'm like, okay, this guy, I will never mention his name ever again. No. I'll take 10 Afrocentrists over him. I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, no, a lot of videos coming out soon, guys. I thought I was blocked. Why would I block you? I mean, I don't know. Usually I only block people that really go completely nuts. Like I have had, and I'm just going to mention it quickly, but I want to maintain the stream mostly positive, at least now, before we go into the second part, which is going to be a little less positive, let's put it this way. So for this part, I just want to make it positive, but I'm saying the people that I'm removing, that I'm blocking, are people that saw what happened in Texas and are laughing about it. Sorry, no. That's what gets you blocked. Hey, Joe. Good to see you here. How you doing? I need to sort the mic. What's wrong with it? It's overdriven. I think I'm a little... Yeah. Okay, let me... There we go. This should do it. Yeah, there we go. Now I'm in orange now, not in red anymore. No, but thank you. I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. Hello, Tommy. So? I love Total War Rome. Man, I spent so much time on that game. We used to play it a lot in university with a friend of mine by the name of Giuseppe. We did full-on night, like we say nottata in Italian, when you stay up with your mates to play games. We did that, like, oh my gosh, he was fixated playing as a Greek and I would play as a Roman, and we did so many, oh goodness gracious. Warhammer is in fact my favorite Total War game. I mean, among the Total Wars, Warhammer is my favorite because I play the tabletop version. Making bad pasta. No, with pasta I'm okay. It's the pineapple that is the problem. Thank you, Johan, for becoming a guardian and a member of the channel. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Chat time, absolutely, Lexi. Having a good time today. Very good question as always. You guys are great. It's, you know, you probably don't know this because it comes natural to you, but in general, a good audience really helps the content creator, because you can literally start a stream calling it no plans, but because you have so many good things and good ideas, the stream naturally evolves and flows. So I'm very grateful for that. That makes my job so much easier. Like you have no idea. Thank you, Pens and Pen. Metatron, do you have any recommendation resources for researching Japanese swords and knives and their history? Unfortunately, there are some good books in English. But unfortunately, do you speak Japanese is the question I'm going to have to ask, or at least are you able to read Japanese? Because there is a lot of material in Japanese that hasn't been translated. If you really want to go down, I don't know if you're starting from scratch or if you're looking to go actually really deeper into it. I love Souls games, yes. Problem is that they don't love me, and I kind of suck at it. I'm still in the get good space. I've never really studied Armenian history, mate. Kind of outside my... not because I don't find it interesting, but simply because, I don't know, I never studied it. You rebuilt the Notre Dame Cathedral in The Sims 4. That is amazing. Yes, I do work out, Bubonic. I just started again, which is a nice thing, because the life of a streamer, YouTuber, is very sedentary, at least with my kind of content. I guess if you're a fitness channel, then whatever, but you know what I mean. And so, yeah, no, I started about a month ago. It's been about a month. It's going to take time, I understand that, but I do work out. So that's good. Yeah, it's good. It's good for me. Exactly. Yeah, I have to, because, you know, you want to look good, but most importantly, I think past a certain age, you have to do it for your well-being, meaning your health, including mental health, because the endorphins and whatnot, you always feel more motivated after you work out. Yeah. Yeah, I know, Keeper of Keys. Yesterday I dedicated a stream to the Texas situation, and yeah, I really hope that they can find more people and rescue them before it's too late. What is your favorite video game original soundtrack, and why is it Chrono Trigger? I actually don't remember. I know what Chrono Trigger is, of course. I wanted to buy one, but they cost too much. It's like you have to put down $700 for an inbox. So maybe not. But yeah, no, Chrono Trigger, I don't remember what it sounds like. But there are quite a few. Like, one of my favorite is the menu music of Deus Ex Machina, Deus Ex Human Revolution, sorry. And then the other one would be the Pirandello-Kruger level of Mirror's Edge 1. And then if you want me to mention more, of course I love Oblivion, that's why I have it right now as a background music. I don't even know if you can hear it. But apart from that, if you want me to go back, then we're going into Quickman stage for Mega Man 2. You speak about Mexican flood. I didn't even know there was a Mexican flood, to be honest. No, the only one I was aware of is the Texas one, possibly because, I mean, they're my neighbors, literally. Plus, I've got friends in Texas. Do you emulate old games? Seems paying 700 for 30-year-old game justifies emulation. I do have emulation, but I only use it for streaming purposes. Otherwise, I'm a physical collector, so I play in original hardware. I collect a lot of games. Usually I try to buy them when I find a good deal. There are just a bunch of games that I was like, I'll buy at any price. But in general, I'll be like, oh, that's a nice, I don't know, Street Fighter 2 Turbo in box for Super Nintendo. How much is it? So I look at it, I'm like, you know what, it's a good price for the condition, so I'll get it. And I've been collecting ever since, plus I've been keeping all the games that I had since I was a kid. So I have a good physical collection. I got nice CRT, I got the original console, so in working conditions. So I'm a physical original hardware, because the problem with emulation is that even with filters on, when you put on an emulation software with the filters on a flat screen, it looks good. Even you can filter the scan lines and whatnot. But when you, like the other day, I have a 1998 computer and I put Heroes 3 with an original CRT monitor. And when I turn it on, my friends were here because we did a Street Fighter tournament, by the way, and I won. But we were here and they saw it and they saw how it looked in the actual environment, what it was meant to be, what it was designed for. And they went like, oh my gosh, that looks so good. And yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Titan. In all of your studies of languages, warfare, and ancient cultures, what's the one lesson or pattern you think modern people completely overlook? Oh my gosh, singling out one. Well, the first one that comes to mind, I don't know if it's the most important, but it is the first one that came to mind. The idea that I'm going to go out on a limb and say, from the freaking Paleolithic all the way up to 50 years ago, we were a repair culture. Now we are a throwaway and buy again culture. And this shift has happened in the last 2 to 3 decades. Probably 3 decades, should I say. In other words, our grandparents, there is a problem with the shirt, there is a problem with your socks, there is a problem with your trousers, they would just repair. And this is something they did in the Middle Ages. There's a lot of examples of repairing. But now we just consume and throw away and replace, consume, throw away and replace. And it's a new thing. And I do believe that that's something we lost. And in fact, up to a certain extent, I do subscribe to the idea, you can call it a conspiracy if you want, but I do subscribe to the idea of planned obsolescence when it comes to technology. And this kind of stuff being designed to be replaced because they want us to get the new one next year, and then I have a perfectly functional TV, and yet for some reasons I buy another one a year after that. Whereas, as you can see, because I'm a collector, I have a IBM computer it's the 5150 with a 5151 monochrome monitor. It's from 1981 and it still works perfectly. So to me, we stepped into a very, it's a shame that we lost that, because I think we have always had it. This idea of, well, before you throw it away, let's see if we can fix it. And again, you don't have to go back to the medieval period. It's your grandma. Yeah, we may be doomed. I did install Doom in that machine, by the way. Yeah, we do lose skills over generations. It's one of the downsides of technological advancement in general, apart from actual marketing strategies. Those are evil. But if you look at the actual natural consequence of technological advancement, is the obsolescence of skills. I mean, as a linguist, someone who's put decades of work into being able to reach communicative skills and fluency in multiple languages, in a few hundred years, maybe even less, depending on how quickly AI advances, this skill will become I don't want to say useless, but I will say recreational. Because we might get into a point with Neuralink and whatnot, where it will literally be, what language do I need to speak now? Mandarin, let me switch the chip. And if we get to that point, the skill of learning languages to actually learn them will be gone. I know it might sound dystopic, and you might think, no, we're never going to get there. But I truly believe that if we only need to go back 2 centuries to have a conversation with someone who will say, oh no, your skill to know how to ride a horse will never go away. You need horses to move around. And now it's only recreational because we replaced them completely. Oftentimes they couldn't imagine it. And yet here we are. So I think we'll forget how to drive cars too. Maybe, I think that's going to happen in our lifetime. Yeah. In fact, someone from maybe 2070 might look back at us and say, man, people still knew how to drive cars. So yeah. All jobs will become recreational after AI is done. I hope not, but it does seem to go in that direction, I'm not going to lie. No, I never heard of the song 10,000 Days, Benjamin. Good to see you, by the way. How you doing, brother? Benjamin and I sometimes disagree, and when we disagree, but he's always respectful, and I appreciate that. As long as people are civil, I don't have a problem with disagreements. Thank you, Ray. Most people don't know how to drive cars today. You know, as someone who learned to drive manual first, I have to say, yes, there are a few people that I think maybe most of the people around me here only drive automatic, the exception being my mother-in-law, but she was raised in a farm in Alabama, so she knew how to drive manual because of that situation. She's a very, let's put it, self-sufficient woman. I appreciate that of her. Yeah, I think they were made a little tougher, Keeper of Keys. You know, they told us, I remember this, because again, I still own cassettes. I just bought a Walkman, by the way. It will arrive in a couple of days. The original Walkman from the 80s. So I still have the cassettes. I still have the VHS. And we were told that these would demagnetize in 20 years. I've got stuff like Ninja Turtle stuff from the 80s, and it still works. I think it's a matter of how you preserve them. Even the floppy disks that I have, or I have like some cartridges from the 1970s. I can show you, they're right behind me, so I'll go and pick them up in a little bit. But I have some cartridges for the Atari from the late 1970s, and when I put them in the machine, they just work. You have your NES from 1992, still works. There you go. It's exactly what I mean. Yeah, and as long as you took good care of these machines, yeah. There are some, like, for instance, I have an Amiga here, and luckily it's not the Amiga, it's called 500 Plus. Luckily it's a base 500, because I think in the 500 Plus they added a battery, and tech with a battery, eventually you have to replace the battery or remove it completely because it will go bad, and the acid can deal damage to the motherboard and the inner components. So yeah, some machines need to be refurbished. But yeah, luckily this one didn't need to, though. Doesn't have one. When are you getting a Greek panoply, Metatron? Maybe when I finish with my mortgage. Priorities, my friend. Hey Derek, hey Metatron, love your content, thank you so much. Have you ever read The Scythian Empire? If so, what are your thoughts, and have you considered making a video? So is it a specific book about it that it's titled like this? If that's the case, no. If you mean, have you ever read about the Scythian Empire, then yes, absolutely. And making a video about it totally would be something that... I have a list that you're not aware of. I have a list with a whole... what I was going to say, okay. I have a document with a list of a whole range of... civilizations, and that's what I'm getting the videos for the Ethnogenesis series, that it's going well on the channel. And yeah, eventually, once we finish the Ethnogenesis series, Then we will do deep dive into the cultural aspects or military aspects, and so we will re-examine these civilizations again. So that's where I'm going with that. It's just that I wish these videos could be made more quickly. I'll have to see if I can find a way to do that. I'll have to involve more channel members, which I could, sorry, not channel members, I had to involve more people from the team. The reason why the Greek ethnogenesis, Macedonian ethnogenesis, and the one about the Romans, I only involved one. It was me and another guy. Now, I could, who is a classicist in the team, is the team leader. However, if I wanted to, I could have involved more people. Like I could have involved an editor, since I edited that. I could have involved an editor. I could have involved the anthropologist. I could have involved more people. But that increases the cost of production of the video. So I couldn't do it because I didn't know if YouTube was going to make them flop. But now that those 3 episodes are doing well, then I'm starting to feel like I can allocate. And also, I have to be honest, members and super chats are a great way to support that kind of production and help me churn out these videos more quickly. I mean, because, you know, if I'm looking at a situation, I'm like, oh, I don't know, the last video capped at 60,000 views, but then again, we got a lot of new members, then I can still do it because I take the money from the new members to pay a couple of extra team members. Even though, unfortunately, right now the anthropologist is having some serious health issues. I don't know if I can. Well, then again, she said she likes to. It keeps her mind busy, so I guess I can still send her work. It's a specific book. Oh, it's a fringe theory. I'll look into it. Absolutely. Thank you for that. The later Amigas need to be recapped because they have low-quality Varta batteries. Yeah, there we go. I see. I didn't know it was a quality issue. I thought it was a general issue. I guess it is a general issue with batteries, regardless, once you get to a certain age. But maybe the 600 is one of those that have that problem. Strange machine, by the way, the 600. I never really understood why they made it. Most anticipated indie game coming out soon. I'm gonna go for Heroes of Might and Magic, the Olden Era. I'm so looking forward for that one. I've been pestering the devs to send me a evaluation copy, but I don't think they're receiving my emails. Maybe I'm going into spam. Or maybe they don't like me. I don't know. I don't wanna go in and accuse or anything. I don't think that's the case. I think they're just I think they're just not getting it. Or maybe they just don't want to send me an email. That's fine. It's not like they have to. It's not like I'm big shot. So it's fine. I don't have it. I can buy it. It's not even the money part. It's just that I want to play now. I want to play. If I could play it right this second, like if the developer were watching this now, and they would write a comment like, "Hey, Metatron, we can send you a code right now." Be like, "Okay, guys, in the second part of the stream, we're playing Olden Era, Heroes Olden Era." That's what I would do. 100%. I don't think any race is superior to any race. I think that's a flawed way to look at it. Because it becomes individual. You'll have an absolute idiot in that. And besides, we are humans. I don't even know if we want to say we're different races. That's why I usually use the term ethnicity. But in general, even if you want to look at each single group, you will have an absolute idiot in that group, and you will have a very intelligent individual in that group. So it becomes a case-by-case scenario at that point. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying, Tico. In general, we are the human race. Because I could be wrong. I'm not a biologist, so do correct me. But the way I understand it is, if we were actually a different race, could we interbreed? Or is that a matter of species? Because I think some of the problem with this whole situation is linguistic. Like, what do you mean by race? What do you mean by species? So before we can say make a categorical statement, I think we would have to define the meaning of the words that we are using, because the meaning shifts. Like, it's called a semantic shift. It does happen. There are plenty of words that like mean something, but it's not the same thing that it meant in its origins. Like, this happens. Is that usually this happens organically. It takes hundreds of years. When politics gets involved, usually they take words and force a process that is usually natural and make it unnatural and artificial, and which is one of the reasons why they usually get backlash for it. But in general, I want to say it does happen. It does happen. Even a fantastic curiosity, and I'll read your super chat in a second. A fantastic curious thing about, for example, the word for black and white in Romance languages and Germanic languages. If you're not aware of this, it's actually fascinating. Is that if you think about it, you could think, well, we have the word white in Italian is bianco, in Spanish is blanco, in French is blanche, and in English is black. Although it isn't, is it? And yeah, I'm not joking with you. It's the same root, but in English, it swapped the meaning to its opposite. And so you'll be like, well, wait, why? Why is it that the same exact Indo-European root in these Romance languages ended up meaning white, but in English it ended up meaning black instead of white, if it's the exact same root, and again the stem is the same? And the reason is that the original meaning has been identified. I don't remember how it's pronounced, but it's guesswork anyways. But the original meaning in the Proto-Indo-European language where it comes from was fire. So this is the concept of a flame has been taken by some languages as, well, a flame is bright, so white. And in other languages, well, what's left after a flame? Ashes, so black. And so this is how sometimes things evolve over time. And then there are plenty of situations in which, as I say, some words have a meaning and then the meaning is lost or changed. And yeah, so there's that. Thank you, MJS, for the support. Did you play the old Might and Magic RPG games? Yes, only one. 6 still holds a fond place for me, but I struggle to get into the older ones. I have one. I think I have 2. Meaning not that I have 2 boxes, meaning that I have Might and Magic 2 for the Amiga. I have it in box. I actually bought it by mistake. Believe it or not, that happens. But I'm happy. It's a very good mistake, in fact. Excellent mistake. Hey Ryu, good to see you here. How are you guys doing on Twitch, by the way? Slavic languages is the same root. Interesting. Put your subscribe account in the subject line. What do you mean? Gemstone 4, I don't know, is it a game? Yeah, I like Sabaton. There are other groups that I like more, but Sabaton is pretty good. Thank you, some stupid punk. If that makes me feel like I'm insulting you for gifting. Ask you anything, bet. Is a hot dog a sandwich? I mean, I guess. Is it similar to that situation? Is cereal a soup? I think it's kind of similar to that. Yeah, the Dacian fox as a weapon, would you use it on a battlefield if you were an ancient soldier? No, because I would prefer, you see, the thing with the Dacian fox is that it uses both your hands. So I think particularly in that time period, it can be effective, and it was against the Romans. Otherwise, they wouldn't have adapted the helmets with the extra cross to protect from it. Still, I do prefer, in classical antiquity and warfare, a massive shield, I think, is the objectively best setting, like combination setup. It really is. I know, music playlist. I'll have to ask you for something. It's planned for the end of the month, hopefully, but because I have so many videos in the making right now, it is taking some time. Also because I was sent by a collaborator a 400 pages document that I've been studying, and because this is not just me, it's an effort of multiple creators, a couple of professors. We're looking into it, and so we are sending each other emails constantly to discussing. So it's being worked, but it's taking some time. It's related to the Earl of Sandwich. Oh yeah, I think I watched a video about it. Falcata is a good sword, yes. And the Romans liked it too before they switched into the Gladius. They had a similar sword to the Falcata. What countries would you like to learn more about, and would you like to improve Wikipedia? On the Wikipedia side of it, I don't know, because I don't know which Wikipedia pages that have to do with country would require some updating, so I haven't got a clue. But lately I've been very interested in Nordic countries, actually. The whole Scandinavian, and not just Scandinavian, but Nordic, because Nordic it includes more countries than the word Scandinavian. They're not interchangeable. Yeah, I think the lack of the ability to trust with some of these Falks, I can see that. Yeah, Sikas absolutely can be one-handed, totally, yeah. Are you interested in learning modern Hebrew since you know Biblical Hebrew? Well, I've studied Biblical Hebrew. I wouldn't say I know it, but I'm more interested in Biblical Hebrew, I'll be honest. But it's not that different. Pronunciation is different. There are words that they don't use, but as far as I understand, a modern Hebrew speaker can read the Bible no problem. I don't know if it's going to be that different. Metatron makes me want to learn Latin. Latin is great. Latin is always great. Yeah, you could use the word blank to mean without color, sure. Blank. I don't know if it's specifically, because I think to me blank just means without anything, rather than without color specifically. But I mean, you could use it in that context, yes. If you woke up a king in the Middle Ages, regardless of what region, although more specifically Europe, what would you firstly do? See, that's the thing, because you would think, with all the knowledge we have, we would want to improve them, right? Improve my kingdom, because I've got knowledge from the future, and so improve my kingdom, probably act on that knowledge, because the problem is, yes, I know computers exist, but I haven't got a clue how to make a computer. So like, I'm not an engineer, and a lot of our knowledge is divided, right? So that would be a bit of a problem. Maybe it's not like I could produce a firearm. What I could do, though, is probably try to use historical knowledge. So like, if I know that a battle is going to go badly, and I'll give them, or if I know that a general is going to fire the traitors, fire all the traitors. I'm saying fire in the medieval sense of the stake. Fire the traitors, and then try to use the knowledge of the historical knowledge to change the events in favor of my kingdom, and then probably invest into the development of some technology, even though I could try and give them some ideas, some directions. But yeah, something like that. Thank you, Ray Gonzalez. Rapid fire question: which is better, longsword or katana? For me, longsword, but it is a close call. Still, I mean, just the range alone of the longsword. Yeah, I prefer the longsword. I didn't watch Invincible, no. Project Zomboid. No, I missed that one, Onin. Hello from Chile. Thank you. Josefina, is that how you pronounce it? Cardenas. Leighton. You love Leonardo da Vinci. We'll love a video of him. Yeah, I do have a video on Michelangelo, so maybe a video on Leonardo. You know what? It's a good idea. Video on Leonardo. Then we gotta do Raffaello and Donatello, though. Shouldn't we? Could you imagine Alexander the Great with firearms? Firearms and probably antibiotics. As a second thing I would give the man. I would, by the way. Totally. I wonder if I would be speaking Greek right now, though. Because he probably would, if he hadn't died, he probably would have continued his expansions and maintained. Yeah, who knows what they would. Yeah, that could be an interesting alternative history video. People getting stalked on the first Oblivion Gate. Oh, goodness gracious. Does anyone? Lower the difficulty level, I guess. Hey, Robert. Thank you for the support. How have you been doing managing the daily uploads and multiple channels? Are you able to take any R&R for your mental and physical health? Yeah. So the idea is I do massive production days where I will film a lot of videos on one day, just fully really go to town with production. And what that does is that it allows me to have extra videos. So right now I still have videos that are unlisted and are ready to be published on all platforms. And so that gives me some space, right? And then sometimes if I really need to, like, oh, I'm a little tired, maybe what I'll do is that I'll take a live stream and say, hey, let's edit out an extract from this live stream and we can make a video out of it. Then, as you know, I've done some reacts, which are very easy to do. And in general, it's all about planning. As long as you plan things well, yeah. Scimitars, Arab or Kanda, India? I don't know what this one looks like. The only one I'm familiar with is this, which out of the two, I would say the scimitar, yeah, but I mean, I'm not very familiar with the Kanda, the Indian Kanda, so I don't know, I might change my mind. Thank you very much. Wow. It really is wow. Thank you for your generosity, man. $50. I really appreciate that. Because of the internet, we have access to information, including tragedy, the past generation didn't have. You're right. As a Christian man, how do you navigate life when every bad thing that happens is on the news or YouTube the very next day and not get depressed? Yeah, as I say, I think it's important to try and sometimes when I see that I'm getting a little overwhelmed, and whether you're a Christian or not, this works anyways, disconnect. I know we are perpetually online, constantly connected. Sometimes you just need to disconnect. That's one thing. The other thing, if you want me to address this on the Christian matter as well, I think one good thing to do is that maybe imagine that you have a personal relationship with God and you feel good and you feel blessed and you feel like you can feel His presence, you feel the Holy Spirit and all that. Well, probably the person who is being toxic doesn't have that. So you have to try and put yourself, rather than looking at them from a position of, oh, look at me, I'm so much better than them. Maybe think about, well, I am like, maybe I'm not toxic, I'm not angry and all that because of what I have, but they don't have that. So I need to try to put myself in their shoes. It doesn't justify their behavior, but maybe can help you look at things from a different perspective. And I do this with people in the comments. I will still block people that are extremely toxic because you don't need to expose yourself to that level of toxicity. But I usually give people a second chance because you don't know what's going on behind that person typing that hateful comment. Maybe something really bad happened to them, or maybe other times they're just evil. Some people are genuinely evil. I know you disagree with that, Benjamin. Sorry, but we'll have to agree to disagree on that. I'm not gonna change my mind on that one. But yeah, thank you for the support, my man. I appreciate that. Yeah, and also balance it. Like, clearly, your support, your generosity, this is a beautiful thing to see, right? And so it's important to give weight to positivity, because oftentimes what used to happen to me is that I would get like 15 positive comments and then one negative comment immediately counterweights that. No, let's give the right weight. So like, yeah, focus on the good things. And then sometimes there is negativity, unfortunately. We just got to deal with that. Thank you, Fettuccine Broccoli. I'm studying Japanese, but I'm barely above N5. What I found the most difficult has been finding stuff to interact with the language. Bought some games while I was in Japan, but should I even try playing them at my level? Well, if you're if you're still a beginner, games might be a little overwhelming. You can still do it, but only if you enjoy it. Like, if you love the game, then by all means. But the idea of the games and anime, depending on the anime, can be a little overwhelming sometimes, because you might be like, I don't understand anything. Or maybe you're learning sentences, but if you're too much of a beginner, you might not be able to distinguish between a sentence you can actually use on everyday conversation and a sentence that is literally only usable within freaking Final Fantasy. But if you use it with a real Japanese, they will have no idea what you're talking about. So no, maybe like try to... watching helps, watching movies, watching anime, once again, anime is difficult. But yeah, watching stuff helps. And then there is a lot of material though. YouTube channels, it's full of YouTube channels with easy tutorials to begin. Like there are the slow Chinese, slow Japanese, slow Italian. It's a series that usually helps with listening at a lower level so that you can build it step by step. Scimitar is a longsword, my friend. Longsword is going to win it. Thank you, Ray. I appreciate that. It was kind of fun. Not going to lie, that was fun. If you had superpower, Metatron, what superpower would you have? I don't know what superpowers are available, because it kind of depends on that. If you go into anything, then I don't know, can I have all knowledge of stuff? Can I have knowledge of the future? Like, that could be really useful. Do I have what else? Not to think about it. Siege of Paris by wolves. It happened sometimes in the 1400s. I'm so gonna look for that, and if I can find some good material on that and it checks out, that's an awesome video to make. Excellent excellent idea. Yeah, I'll look into that 100%. Man, Siege by Wolf, that's insane. How did that happen? Reminds me of Stronghold Kingdoms. Thank you, Joe. Check the latest info. Scholars claim that Polish king dynasty of Piast came from Scottish Picts. Watch Clash of Civilization Arc 1 tribe, take name Byzantines and build keep base. Like, yeah, I wasn't aware of this. I'll definitely look into it. And Domenico, as an Italian man, thank you for the support, with a clear passion for history, particularly Roman history, how do you view Mussolini and his efforts to revive a sort of Roman culture? Added quest, also thoughts on Puglia. Puglia is awesome. I'll start with this one. I love Puglia, and that's where I served in the Navy when I was conscripted. And yeah, I do remember being a freaking, yeah. I like Puglia. Puglia is great. They've got good food and beautiful landscape. When it comes to Mussolini, I think it was just propaganda. I mean, the only thing Roman that he was trying to revive was the architecture, which he did a good job, and I wish he stuck to that, because, I mean, the architecture looked great. Fascist buildings, they're a little squared, because, I mean, it's the totalitarian, boxy, but the columns and in general, that kind of revival of that's imposing structures, I liked that very much. But apart from that, the only other thing Roman that he tried to do was the expansionistic efforts. So no, I think it was mostly, even the Roman salute is fake. It never existed. It's not a thing. So a lot of the stuff, it wasn't done right. Like, if you want to revive, because, I mean, modern Italy is a bit of a joke on certain aspects when compared to Rome. Like, for instance, it takes us 40 years to build a freaking bridge, and the Romans could do it in a week. So, like, yeah, and the organization is a mess, while Roman bureaucracy was like a well-oiled machine, and their economy was incredible, although then again, it was an economy based on slave work, so there is that. I'm glad we lost that one. But I'm saying, if you wanted to recreate the arts, the customs, the efficiency of Rome, then absolutely yes, it would be great. I just don't think Mussolini was the man, because he was doing it for the anti-individualistic position of a powerful state that is dictatorial in nature. And personally, I always consider myself as an anti-dictatorial or anti-totalitarian in all of their forms, whether it be fascism, the fascism of Mussolini, the Nazism of Hitler, or the communism of Stalin. It doesn't matter. I'm an anti-totalitarian at heart. So there is that. Yeah. Who are your 4 favorite historical figures? I'm going to put definitely Octavianus Augustus. I really like him as a Roman emperor. Well, I would put number 1 Jesus, just to trigger the people, the mythicists. I'm going to put Jesus, just to, he's going to be my favorite. Number 2, I'm going to put Octavianus Augustus, then Raffaello Sanzio, the painter, and then I'll put Leonardo, probably these 4. Leonardo da Vinci. Yeah. What's your favorite medieval melee weapon, says Kenja? Effectiveness-wise, the poleaxe. But just because I like it, the mace. In fact, in all Elder Scrolls games, I always use the mace. Mace and shield. I love mace and shield. Muppet is a superpower. Great. If pedantic is a superpower, my friend. Pedantry. Are kings totalitarian? No, because, I mean, at the end of the day, it is a different system, and when you look at a totalitarian regime, it still functions differently. It has some points of commonality, but you can find with a monarchy, but there are points of commonality even between, for instance, a totalitarian regime that is, for example, secular in nature, like the communism under Stalin, and a theocratic regime, which would be the opposite, in the sense that it's based on the power to religion and church, so no division between church and state at all. And they would have some common elements, but they would be very different. They would not be the same. So monarchy is a different system, obviously, from totalitarianism, even though it shares some common grounds. Yes, I play the piano. I studied piano play for 8 years. So yeah, I play the piano. Mostly classical music, though. I'm a monarchist and I don't believe in democracy. Well, of course, that's your freedom to believe that. I know there are some people like that. You're kind of rare these days, but yeah. Also, which type of democracy do you oppose? Pure democracy or representative democracy? So, do you oppose ancient Athenian democracy as well, or is it just a problem with modern democracy? Yeah, I can play Bach. I can play some Bach. I have some videos of me playing the piano, by the way. If you write Metatron play the piano, you'll find videos. I've already recorded myself playing Bach, Mozart, Chopin, Rachmaninoff. Charlemagne, yeah, sure. I don't know much about this Epstein situation. I haven't really followed it much. Also because I don't really believe that we'll know anyways, because deep state is deep state. But I mean, I watched a video the other day. I think I watched a video on CoffeeZilla's second channel that was talking about this. And then I saw that Charlie mentioned it, Penguin Zero, but I only started the video, put it in the background while I was doing something else, so I didn't really pay attention to what he said. I haven't got a clue what he said, I'll be honest. I don't know. I just heard it. Also because here's the thing, and again, Penguin is an incredibly successful creator, Moist Critical, and I love lately has been playing Resident Evil, I love it, but he's one of those YouTubers that I have to focus, I have to watch, because if I put him in the background, due to his monotone, and he goes, yeah, today we're gonna talk about this. I haven't got a clue. It kind of loses me at that point. I don't know. So I need to sit down. Okay, I'm watching a video by Moist Critical. Then it's fine. It's not like that with games because he gets animated, if you know what I mean. When he's trying to fight, so it's fine. I can put him in the background, and it's cool. But regular content, like talking head content with Penguin, I've got to sit down and watch it. My favorite MMO? You know what? I do like MMOs, but I'm more of a survival person. So if you give me, I will take Conan Exile / Valheim over any MMO. And even Enshrouded. They are more addictive, or Pax Day. They're more addictive to me because of the whole building of the base component, which is where I spend most of my hundreds of hours. In fact, thousands almost. But if I have to choose an MMO, gosh, I remember I liked Final Fantasy XIV. It was kind of fun. What else did I play that was an MMO? I mean, I played Dragon Nest. You probably don't even know what that is. I played that one. Terra was pretty nice, but now it's gone, at least. I don't remember if you... Maybe you can still play it on console, but you cannot... I don't think you can play it on PC anymore. Terra was kind of fun. Yeah, survival for me, it's the superior type of game. Valheim is I could put, if you give me a group of 10 friends, like we did at one point, now everyone is busy, they don't want to play. At one point I was even considering paying people to play with me. I was like, what if I give you for $50 a day and we play together? I was thinking that, because the thing is that with my friends, right, because they all got busy and they're like, I don't know, I can't do it right now, but I loved it. I had some of the best memories. There was 10 or 11 of us and we were building this village together. And we all knew each other, so we all built the village and we all had our own house, and then we were thinking about the defense strategies, and then when the monsters were attacking, we were all like, man, the gates, the battlements. I was planning the battlements from a historical perspective. I did a moat. We diverted some water into it. Man, it was so good. So yeah, you give me that with a group of 10 people that have time and are consistent. I could put 10,000 hours into that thing. And Conan Exile is another one like that because I love the setting. I think Conan Exile has a phenomenal setting, meaning Conan. And Conan is great. Yeah, I have to play Valheim again. I think I do play it sometimes on my own, but I think that game shines when you play it with a consistent group of friends that you're really close with. Then that game is awesome. Yeah, I played some Ark. I liked... Ark is the one with the dinosaurs, right? Or am I getting confused? No, that's the second one. The one with the dinosaurs I liked. The original Ark, I think, is the one... I hated the vitamin thing. I would have, like... I couldn't stand that. It was too much, to be honest. I'm fine with food and water, but the whole balance the vitamins so you'll die. I'm like, I get it that they're trying to be realistic, but then it's not realistic. It's not realistic that I don't take vitamin C for 5 minutes and I explode on the ground. I would rather... Here's how I would do it. I would rather having a good balance in your food and vitamins gives you a buff, but it doesn't do anything. Like, the only thing is that you miss out on the buff. I'm good with that. But this idea that you're gonna die because of it, it was just, come on. I don't know. Maybe some people love it. I didn't. No, I mean survival. Although I do... Excuse me. Although I do like survival horror as well. It's a type of game that I enjoy playing. I finished several... I'm more of a Silent Hill guy than a Resident Evil guy. I loved Resident Evil all the way up to 4. 5 was not my type of game. And 6... I didn't like 6 either. 7 is when it started to be interesting again. And Village seemed to be pretty good, but I did lose interest after a few hours. Have you tried the Christian game Gate Zero? I hear it's good. I had no idea. I'll have to check it out. Mason Shield, Cleric Gang represent, totally. Yeah, the poleaxe is literally like it's good for everything. You can't go wrong with the poleaxe. Yeah, Resident Evil is a great series. That's why I've been enjoying watching Moist Critical replaying all of the old Resident Evil games. And Resident Evil 2 remake is probably one of the best remakes that they have made, period. I do not remember being annoyed by a single thing in that remake. The way you pronounce vitamins, what about it? I mean, I know people here, like my wife pronounces it vitamins, but I've always pronounced it vitamins. I think that's how they say it in the UK, where I picked it up. So I don't think either is wrong. There's just two different ways to say it. A bit like dynasty. I say dynasty. I've never said... I know that some people say dynasty. I've always said dynasty, so I just stick to the way I say it. Resident Evil 1 Remake is legendary too. I never tried it. I'll have to try it. Poleaxe. How should it be? Poleaxe? Poleaxe? But I don't know. No, I know that... but then again, it's an accent thing. Like, they're both correct. You can say dynasty, vitamin, and privacy, or you can say dynasty, vitamin, and privacy. They're all correct. It's just a regional variety. Like, I've never heard anyone in England say vitamin. Again, it's a matter of which one is more natural to you. If I said vitamin, I would feel like I'm putting on an accent, like on purpose. Because to me, normal is vitamin and dynasty. And privacy. More enunciation on axe. So do I say poleaxe? Poleaxe. Poleaxe. I haven't got a clue. No, I think the whole one is wrong and one is right is a flawed approach. Because then my entire accent would be wrong, technically, here in the US. Like, anything I say would be wrong. But it isn't, because unless you do it for a meme, the meme one is fun, when you're like, well, the way you're saying it is wrong, and then they tell each other that. It's kind of fun as banter. But in general, then everything would be wrong, but it isn't. I think, as a language teacher, I think your pronunciation is only wrong in the sense, in a way that you should really think about it when it impedes clear communication. So if the way I pronounce something makes it difficult for native speakers to understand, then yes, that needs to be absolutely corrected. Otherwise, I'd say even if you have a bit of an accent, it's not a big deal, unless you specifically have a desire to get rid of as much of your accent as possible, because for you it's a form of artistic expression. Nothing wrong with that either. But as I say, unless you're someone like that, if someone says one way or another, particularly when they are used by natives, then it's not wrong. As long as a native uses it, it's not wrong as a pronunciation, usually. Yeah. The ambient music, yeah, it's Oblivion, yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's a word. Yeah, it's a register in that case. In fact, when you use, there are registers in any language, and there are certain expressions that you would use in one context but not in another context. So yeah, there is that. But I think something is wrong when it's like no native says it that way. Then it would be wrong, but I would only have a problem with it if the other person doesn't understand you because of it. What makes an accent a received accent? Specifically in England, when you say RP, meaning received pronunciation, it basically means that's the pronunciation of the upper class, and it's the pronunciation that scholars have decided to consider to be the superior one or the correct one. But that's very debatable, because it's really a matter of social linguistics. Because at the end of the day, even when you try to differentiate between a dialect and an official language, from a communicative level, they are the same thing. They are the same thing. The only difference is social, which is why sometimes people say that a dialect is simply a language without a navy and an army to back it up. So a lot of it is political and social and cultural. But at a fundamental level, when it comes to intercommunication between humans, yeah, some languages are objectively harder than others, but that's beyond the point. No language is necessarily superior unless you want to go into the depth of a language. For instance, ancient Greek, which had a huge number of words. Sure, I mean, you can, when a language is more sophisticated, it gives you the ability to express deeper thinking and deeper thoughts, sure. But when it comes to your ability to survive as a species, I think any language will work at the end of the day. So it's all subjective. Same thing with pronunciation of the word water. Oh, absolutely. You could say water, 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 water. Yeah, there are so many different ways, and yeah. Woa, woa. Sicilian versus Italian in terms of beauty. Are you talking language, or are you talking, I imagine you're talking language. I think Italian, meaning standard Italian, is a more beautifully sounded language, but Sicilian is a very passionate sounding language. It kind of depends on what you like. French has 75 accents. I didn't know that they had quantified it like this. Even Italian has a lot of different accents. In fact, it's wrong to take a word and say Italians pronounce it this way. Which Italian? Because you will find a lot of Italians that will pronounce it differently. But standard Italian exists, and so usually it's the one. The reason why I would still suggest people, unless they have a reason for not doing it, I would still suggest people go for the standard variety of a language if you are trying to choose. It's because it makes it easy. It's usually the one it's on TV, so most people will be able to understand it, and it allows you to use it for business more easily. So there are reasons as to why a standard language is objectively a better investment of resource allocation, unless you have a reason not to do it. Like, imagine you're learning a language, but you're learning it because you're specifically interested in people in that region. Then learn their regional variety, who cares? Or like you're married to someone from a specific region, like, I like the way they speak. No, more power to you. So but there have to be reasons. Yeah. France and Italy have similar accent numbers because of how they do their regions. Oh, I see. I understand. I would say aluminium. And yeah, I would pronounce it aluminium. I know what you're asking. It's aluminium or aluminum. I would say aluminium, but it's also in that case because it's closer to my native pronunciation, because in Italian we say aluminio, so it's closer to the other one. Believe it or not, though, sometimes the American pronunciation is closer to the way we say some things in Italian. For instance, how In American, you say zucchini, and in England they say courgette. In Italian, it's zucchine. So in that sense, American English is easier for me. Yeah, pick and choose. That's what I say. Pick and choose. No problem, Kenja. Have a good night. Thank you for joining the stream. Yeah, of course. It comes. The English got it from the French, and I imagine Americans got it from us Italians. That's what happened. Yeah, same. Eggplant or aubergines. That's another one. In England, they say aubergines. Eggplant is very descriptive, though. I kind of like that. In the sense of happy, why not? It's pretty cool you've got a statue of Emperor Augustus. That's very nice. What language do they speak in England? Englandish. Oh, no one is asking you to say where you live. I don't know anything about the Epstein files, to be honest. It's not really a situation that I'm following that much. Yeah, I have a PS5 in this room as well. I got the 30th anniversary PS5, and I think it's really nice. The fact that it has a color palette reminiscent of the original PlayStation 1. I still have to make that comparison video between the color of this one with the original PlayStation. I keep forgetting for the gaming channel. But I did get the Slim because the Pro basically got snatched by the scalpers, and I'm not giving thousands of dollars to a scalper, to be honest. Not gonna happen. Hey Carlo Rino. Sto bene, grazie. E tu? It wouldn't surprise me. Quebec French, basically you're saying it's more linguistically conservative. Yeah, considering that they got separated. Makes sense. Japanese rock, absolutely. I remember a group called 1OK Rock was pretty good, but I'm more of an old school Japanese rock guy, so I will listen to Lunacy. They are really good. Don't even know if they're alive anymore, to be honest. Hey Alex, you love pineapple on your pizza? Well, luckily you live in a country with freedom of speech. I'm assuming. Because such a statement should receive the gallows. I do like anime, yeah, Lord Visa. I used to watch a lot of anime when I was a kid. Now I don't anymore, but very occasionally. I still have fond memories. Francisco Funari, Matt Easton said that many poleaxes were not sharpened because they were meant to hit plates, not flesh, for durability. Maybe a halberd is better for an armored. Yeah, I mean, for maybe a spear at that point would be better for an armored. If maybe a winged spear, if you want to have a little bit of control. Still, here's the thing, though. I understand where you're going with this, but then again, you can still spear them to death. I imagine the point would still be sharp, even if the bladed part is dull, if that's the case. And you could still crush someone without armor if you hit them in the head. I've never tried to boil pasta in a pan. Or can you even put enough water in it? Yes, absolutely. So you're asking, has any subject you have researched to become so overwhelming in its detail that you had trouble finishing it or deciding how to arrange it and present it? Oh yeah, absolutely. This happens a lot. Usually I tend to misjudge the amount of time needed to produce a deep topic video. And so sometimes I'm into it and I'm like, oh, I think I can finish this in the next 2 days. And then I look at the thing and I'm like, no, I'm going to need another week here. This has happened. But I always, like, at the end of the day, as long as I have the time to sit down and look into it, it's fine. I will rearrange the things. But yeah, no, it takes a lot of time. Thank you, Ethan Welsh, for the support. I appreciate that. Yes, of course. I ate a lot of mochi when I was in Japan. Yeah, no, yeah, the stretchy Japanese. What Japanese, if any, have you tried yet? Like, what do you mean, what Japanese, if any, have you tried yet? Japanese what? Food? Yeah, I lived in Japan for 4 years, NXP. And so, no, I tried a lot of Japanese food. Ramen is still my favorite, by the way. But I love mochi. Mochi, if we want to say it. For instance, trying to think, the strawberry one is usually my favorite. The one with a little bit of whipping cream in it. But I tried all sorts. I tried the orange ones. I used to go to this combini, a convenience store near my home. And they had so many. So they had the green ones. Usually when you see green in Japan, it's matcha. Then it's kind of funny because as a Sicilian, whenever I see green, I automatically think of pistachio, which is not pronounced pistachio, and you will be blocked if you say pistachio. So yeah, pistachio, right? Because Sicilian pistachio is very famous. We have a town called Bronte, which makes the best pistachio ever. But anyways, yeah, we Sicilians are kind of fixated with that. So whenever we see something green, we think of pistachio, but in Japan, it's matcha. But yeah, you know, I tried a lot. You have a sweet craving. I understand that, Kristen. Good to see you, by the way. Where in Japan is the best yakitori? Yakitori, you find them pretty much everywhere. I don't know if there is an area that has the best yakitori. For ramen, it depends. If you are in tonkotsu, you should eat it in Kyushu. If you are in shio ramen like me, then Honshu. In fact, both the Tokyo area had some excellent shio ramen. But then I probably had the best ramen ever I had in a small little town in Kansai. I don't remember if it was in Hyogoken. Whatever, but anyways, they had some phenomenal ramen there. If you want to eat takoyaki, then you have to eat it in Osaka if you want the best. Thank you, Ethan Welsh. Why did Rome not invade Ireland? I think it wasn't cost productive. Like, usually the Romans, when they decide not to invade a place, it's because they do, what they do is that they imagine, okay, this is how much resources we're going to need. These are the expected resistance, and this is the expected profit. And so usually when they choose, we're not going there, we're not dealing with them, we're not taking care of it, it's because there aren't enough mines to make it financially viable, or maybe they think the population is going to bring too much resistance for the kind of profit that they could get from enslavement, slavery, and taxation. So the population, they count a lot of things. Also, you have to imagine how far away is the place, how many, the fleet, the movement. So when they calculate that, they usually do a very good. That's why, like, they conquered the whole area in Wales because of the silver mines, the tin mines. So I think the reason why they didn't go to Ireland is that they didn't think it would have been cost effective. I prefer ramen over soba, absolutely right. I like soba, but sometimes it gets too sweet with the sauce, and I like savory. So there's something about ramen when it's well made that is just my favorite Japanese food ever is ramen. Oh, that's how pistachio is in Spanish, I see. Well, I can see that because in CH, usually CH in Spanish is a ch, whereas in Italian is always a K sound. Pistachio is life. I love pistachio. Have you ever tried gelato al pistachio? So the gelato but with a pistachio flavor. Love it. They translated The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time in Latin? I had no idea. This is something I should look into for the gaming channel at one point. Sergio asks, if two straight men are in an intimate relationship, is that gay? If by intimate you mean sexual, yes. If by intimate you mean that they are close, no. So I guess it depends. Oh, taiyaki, yeah, we found. So yeah, filled with, exactly, better than octopus. Yeah, I agree. Taiyaki is great, but it's a sweet thing, whereas the takoyaki is a savory food, as you know, of course. But I love taiyaki. Usually yaki, for those who don't know, and yaku is the verb to grill in Japanese. So anything that is grilled, it will have yaki. So or like cooked in a certain way through fire. It's usually what they use. So okonomiyaki, it means kind of broiled or grilled to your liking. That's okonomi. It's your liking, something you like. So okonomiyaki kind of means that. And takoyaki, of course, tako is the word for octopus. So once again, it's grilled octopus or broiled octopus. And in this case, tai is the Japanese word for the fish red snapper. And so that's what it is, but it's not fish. It's a sweet in the shape of the fish. And as he was correctly saying, where are you? NXP. It's traditionally filled with the red beans paste, anko. But my favorite version, after they met us, Western people, then they added custard cream or chocolate as an option, which is better. I don't even care. It's better. So my favorite is one with custard. If you live in America, because if you live in Japan, you can find it at any train station. But if you live in America and you're like, man, I wish I could try that, you can. Just find at Trader Joe's. Because Trader Joe's has some incredible taiyaki that tastes exactly like the ones in Japan. And you know me, I wouldn't tell you if it wasn't the case. So yeah, they have some, and you can air fry them. 8 minutes in the air fryer, and they are great, crunchy. It's fantastic. You had tamago yaki for breakfast, yeah, with the egg, of course. Could a gorilla efficiently run a government? What a question. I love the omurice. I love the omurice. Whenever we go to Japan, first thing is ramen, but then I will have the omurice with the ketchup on top. It's great. I'm not a fan of udon. I tried. I ate them in a million different ways, even the super traditional ones when sometimes they organize these events at people's homes where they have these like cut bamboo and then they have this water and then the udon go through these like a little, what do you call it? I can't think of the word right now, but anyways, they go down like in a slider or something and then people pick them up. Great. I don't like them. Tried. Thank you, Sarah, for the support. Thank you for the generosity. Hola, Metatron. Tudo bom? Tudo bom? Brazilian here. Tudo bom? Is that how you pronounce it? I don't know. I know you're a Christian, yes, but just out of curiosity, I would like to know if you're part of a specific denomination. Thanks for your awesome content. Well, obrigado. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And I decided I want to try to learn some Portuguese. So you'll see some content in Portuguese where I'll try to speak it on my language channel, Metatron's Academy. So I was brought up as a Roman Catholic, but I studied with there was a time in my life after I went through the whole thing, catechism within Catholicism. My mom was fervent Catholic. And then eventually when I was 18, 19, I started searching because I wanted to study. I didn't want to just follow the religion I was born in. I wanted to study with other approaches to Christianity. And so I would say that I spent a lot of time with other denominations too, all sorts of denominations, in fact. And I had a friend who was evangelical Christian, so I went to their sessions. I think they call it a cell. I don't even know. I had a friend who's a Jehovah's Witness, wonderful person, by the way. I don't agree with their doctrinal take, but as a person, fantastic. So I went to their Bible studies a few times. I spent a very long time in the LDS church. So I spent a lot. I went to several Anglican churches when I was in England. I tried Church of England. So I'm very open-minded when it comes to going to other churches and study, see what their doctrinal ideas are. Right now, I don't know, would I just like to consider myself a Christian without necessarily choosing one specific box, because I agree with some things, I disagree with other things, I have my own ideas, studied the Bible on my own for years. I did read it in Hebrew and in Greek for the New Testament. So at the end of the day, maybe what does that make me, a non-denominational? I don't know, because that one is also... My wife is a bit more into the non-denominational side of things, but will I choose a denomination in the future? Maybe. You're right, Kristen. Yeah, for that thing, yeah, you're correct. You're correct. How did you learn kanji? At university. It was my major. Not just kanji, but in general Asian languages. And I did a double major with Mandarin and Japanese and English. Is that a triple? Not really, because Mandarin was my minor. The double major was English and Japanese, including history. And which is why I started my channel talking about samurai, but let's compare them to the medieval knights. That's exactly what I studied together with the languages at university. But yeah, when I was in Japan, I used to be able to read about 2,000 kanji and write them. Now I can still read pretty well, but my writing skills have gone down tremendously because I don't need it as a skill anymore. Yeah, udon shoot. Yeah, pretty much. They do that sometimes, the Japanese. No, they do it with udon. I guess you could do it with soba too, depending. You should try taiyaki. Again, if you have a Trader Joe's anywhere, I don't know where you live, and you don't have to say. But I'm just saying, if you can find that, you can find taiyaki. Taiyaki is great. If not, maybe see if they can deliver it, like on Amazon when they do food. I don't know. So good, though. No problem, Nicholas. Thank you for being here. You too, Nicholas. Thank you for joining the stream. What is a Swedish fish? Taiyaki? No, it's I don't think so, no. You too. Thank you, GG. I look like the Byzantine Empire? I don't know what that means. I look more like Merovingian king, if we remember one of the Merovingian nobles, if we really have to go there. No, I don't think they should have ever split. I have no milk for coffee. What should I do? Drink it black? Or go to the shop and get some milk? Thank you, Jeremiah Brown. Appreciate that. Thank you for the support. Hey, Metatron, you're French? What, did you watch my video? Is that what you're saying? Did you watch the video on the second channel? I don't know if it's a reference to that. Like in horror movies, you should never split. Yeah. Let's split. We'll cover more ground, and then they all get picked up. One by one. For me, pistachio is better than matcha, but I'm not a huge fan of matcha. Just the other day, we went to Nashville with my wife, and because they had opened a new La La Land, which is like a coffee place. It's really good. I love it. Even the pastry was great. And so I got the La La Latte, which is like, of course, latte in the American sense, meaning coffee milk. Because in the Italian sense, latte would just be milk. But in the American sense, a latte is coffee milk. And it was fantastic. I loved it. And my wife got a matcha because she really likes matcha drinks. I tried it. It's just not for me. I can drink it. I don't despise it. But if you give me a choice, if I have no choice, I'll drink it. But if you give me a choice, I'll probably take anything else. You ended the video before we saw the coolest accent. That's because, well, one, it's because I filmed it yesterday night. So it was already like 1 a.m. And I'm like, you know what? I kind of need to unplug a little bit. I had a good time, but I had to unplug a little bit. That's why the video was posted so late, because I needed to edit it after it. But I am planning on making a second episode. On the second episode, I'm going to try and speak the languages directly and see if it places me. You hate coffee, Lady Jennifer? Have you ever tried Italian coffee, though, in Italy? Maybe that could change your mind. The last name is Di Barbi. Do you know if that's a... I've never heard... Well, there are plenty of surnames that begin with D. Like, I had a Di Martino in my class. So, like, yeah, there are plenty of surnames that begin with D, because it kind of means of, right? And then I never heard the word Barbie, but sure, I mean, why not? It sounds Italian. I wouldn't know where it would be more present. Although then again, if it finishes with an I at the end, maybe it's more central or northern Italy. I would need the context, of course, but that's what I would say. Di Matteo is another one, but we spell it with 2 T in Italy. Mulberry leaf is a good caffeine-free substitute for matcha. Sounds good. Yeah, like a bit like the grass. Yeah, the grass. Most people who say they like coffee really just like caffeine and sugar. Not really for me, because if that were the case, then a Coke would be interchangeable with a coffee, but for me it's not. There is something about the flavor of some coffee that I think I like, particularly the slight bitterness of it, which is why I never put sugar in my coffee. I will put a little milk in it, or a little milk foam to make a macchiato, because that kind of makes it a little more, depending on the coffee. But I like the bitterness of it, which is why I almost never put sugar unless I buy it that way. If it's American coffee, I'll get it with sugar, but if it's a coffee I make at home, we've got 3 coffee machines downstairs, by the way, then I usually don't put sugar. I don't need it. And the nice thing that made me happy is that my wife has this D&D group that they play together with here at our house every couple of weeks, and 2 of the guys are kind of young. They're like, it's a guy and his girlfriend, and they're like, I think he's like 20, and so of course he's 20, he's American. I'm like, I don't know if he's gonna like my coffee, but I made it for him the other day, and I could tell he wasn't being like polite. I could tell. I made him the coffee just like I make it for myself. I'm like, do you want to try Italian coffee? He's like, yeah, I'll try it. So I make this macchiato, I give it to him, he starts drinking it, and he goes, oh wow, that's smooth. And it felt real. Like, it felt real. And then the day after, he asked me again, can you make that coffee for me? So I think it's going to become a thing where every time he comes for D&D, I'll make coffee for him. Good pronunciation. Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate that. Ginger's a Celtic origin. Yeah, you know what's interesting? Both Julius Caesar and Pomponius Mela from ancient Rome, they, as a distinctive factor, of course, they're most likely speaking in a bit of a stereotype general terms, but it is poignant to say that in generic terms, as a distinguishing factor, they tell us that Germanic people were blonde, and Picts, and in general people in Caledonia, so modern-day Scotland, were red. They tell us that as a distinctive factor. Of course, this doesn't mean that every single person was showing these colors, but it would have been significant for the Romans to consider it as a distinctive element. And again, remember that when they write these things, they write them for the people back home in the Mediterranean. People that probably may have never seen Germanic and Picts and Scottish and Celtic people unless they see them in the context of the big cities with the gladiatorial fights. But for the population, or maybe some senators, when they're writing these things and they say, oh, German tribes, they're blonde, with blue eyes and very pale skin. That's how they describe them. They use the word candida for the skin. But for the people in Scotland, they say they're redhead. So again, if they're saying it, it must have meant that a certain number of the population must have been gingers. Thank you, Lord Visa. Are you a fan of the Byzantine Empire, just like the Roman Empire? No, I'm more of a fan of the Western Roman Empire, but I do find Byzantine art gorgeous, particularly the Christian Byzantine art. I've seen a few incredible examples at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, where we always go there. Whenever I take the wife to New York and we have a couple of weeks, we always go to the Met. She knows that one of the days we go to the Met, and in fact she enjoys it. I mean, I love when you enter into the Metropolitan Museum of Art and you turn left, you go into the medieval armor and weapon section. That's my favorite part. Usually I go there on my own. She will tag along a little bit, but the part that she likes is the one on the right, which is ancient Egypt with all of the Egyptian stuff. She loves that. And then if you go straight, you go into the Byzantine section, which is also gorgeous. It has some incredible full-blown rooms that look spectacular. Yeah. Double espresso, black and on ice. Espresso freddo, you would say. Oh, you say freddo espresso in Greece, you do the other way around. So you're using Italian words, but I guess in a syntax order that makes sense in Greek. We would say espresso freddo. My mom used to like drinking macchiato freddo. So usually in Italy, if you ask, first and foremost, I would like to say to any tourist who wants to go to Italy, or if you go to an Italian restaurant where you are and you want to order in Italian, please don't say, when you order a coffee, please don't order un espresso per favore. No one really says that because espresso is default in Italy. It's default. That's what coffee is. So to be natural, just say un caffè per favore. And if you're in Italy, it's automatically going to be an espresso. So un caffè per favore. Then if you say un macchiato, you don't even need to specify coffee. Usually if you say un macchiato, they will give you coffee with milk foam. But my mom used to like ordering un macchiato freddo, which means that instead of steaming the milk and putting it in the coffee, they would just add the milk as it is cold. She loved it that way. I occasionally like drinking it like that too. Here we've got a foaming machine downstairs that we can use to make the foam like a barista would. But sometimes if I'm a little lazy, I'll just do a macchiato freddo and add a little bit of milk like that into the coffee just to round it out a little bit and make it nicer. Yeah, you like macchiato cold? Me too, yeah, sure. It is good. More so out of laziness. I understand that 100%. Sometimes, like, I'll just drink it. Strong ginger roots in Ireland too. Totally, yeah. I mean, because of the Celtic connection. I don't know if red would include dirty blonde, because the Romans had a word for this. They actually had a word for it, and if I remember correctly, it's subflavium. Let me double check it. Flavus, maybe was it? They have a word for it, for dirty blonde, and it's not the one that they used in. So give me 1 second. Let's see if I can find it for you. Yeah, I do believe it's this one. Anyway, they have this word that I'm looking for, which literally, it's kind of a dirty blonde, or maybe you could also consider it as a light brown, depending on the situation. And I'm looking for it. That's why I'm looking to see if I can find it. Anyways, they used that to describe the hair of Emperor Octavianus Augustus, who probably had kind of a light brown hair. But for red, they use a different word. And I think it would be more akin to, the kind of orange, red, ginger hair of some people. I think it's harder sometimes to really decipher the eye color of some of the ancients in their descriptions, because some of the colors they don't necessarily overlap perfectly with the way we distinguish colors, particularly in English, but in general in modern languages. So sometimes it's difficult to really know when we read the sources, did she, for instance, Athena, I made a video about it, did she have silver gray eyes, or did she have blue eyes? It's difficult to know because they use a word that could mean both. And so sometimes it's a little difficult with some Roman emperors to know exactly what the colors were. But with the hair is a little easier. Not in the sources, unfortunately. I imagine, if a Roman had several people in front of them, they would have definitely differentiated. But in the sources, I didn't find that. And also there is this whole thing that, unfortunately, how the Romans liked blonde hair. They thought it looked pretty. Particularly the Roman women liked blonde hair. And if you have heard TikToks or YouTube channels telling you that the Romans used they used blonde wigs for prostitutes, that's a myth. It's wrong. It's false. There's no connection between the two things at all. It's basically a misrepresentation of a story where basically there is this character, noble woman, who is hiding, and so she puts on a blonde wig, and pretends to be a prostitute. But that's it. It's because she didn't want to be recognized, not because blonde wigs were connected to prostitutes. That's wrong. But it is true, however, we do have sources that tell us about a commerce whereby Roman women would buy blonde wigs that were imported from Germanic land, and because they liked it, they thought it was pretty, and some women would wear it because blonde was not common in Italy, in Italia. And when I say Italy, I don't mean it in the modern sense. I mean it geographically. I think the most common would have been black and brown. There could have been some indigenous, some people that were blonde, but it would have been a minority, as it still is, both in Greece and in Italy to this day. There is a certain percentage of blondes. I think it's smaller in Greece than it is in Italy, but it's even in Italy, it's still a lot smaller than the percentages of blondes in Germany, and even in France, and most importantly, in England, and of course in the Nordic countries. It's not wrong to say Italy, though. So yeah, I do mean the Italic Peninsula, but then again, sometimes people say you shouldn't say Italy when you talk about ancient Rome. They're wrong, because Italy in the modern sense didn't exist, because it's 170 years old. But Italia, the exact same word that we used to, where you get the word Italy from, was used by the Romans, and there are hundreds of legal documents that use that word to mean the geographic space. That would be the boot plus the islands, including the Alps, depending on the period. So it's not wrong to say Italy when you speak geographically about the Roman period. It's correct. The Romans used it. Oh yeah, of course. In Poland and in general Eastern Europe, there are a lot of blonde with blue eyes. Yeah, sure. It is a different blonde than the blonde that they have in the Nordic countries, but it's still, likewise, the blondes that we have in Italy are different. Usually it's a darker type of blonde. Usually, not always, but usually it is a darker type of blonde. Plus the facial structure is very different. You can spot a Nordic in Sicily, you can spot a Nordic yeah. I think it's beautiful, the variety of complexions and colors in the world. I find it beautiful, always have. I'll have to look into hair dyes, because the Romans were great into when it comes to dyeing clothes. I do believe they did do some form of bleaching, but then again, differently from the information that I shared up to this point, I haven't double checked that one. So do take it with a pinch of salt. Sometimes, yes, not always. Not always, but I do remember what you're saying, if you're Nordic walking around Mediterranean, you're a head taller than everyone anyways. It depends, it's not always the case. But I do remember this friend of mine from Sweden who came to visit in Sicily, and the guy was a freaking giant. He was a blonde giant. It was cool. He actually looked cool because he had the long hair, he had the beard. I was like, man, you're like a freaking walking Norse. Anyways, yeah, that was cool. He was really cool. And in that case, yes, he was taller than most of us, but the average, I think I am pretty average, I think, but maybe now the average is even a little higher than me. Taller, I mean. I'll have to see. Because I'm 5'9", and yeah. It's adaptation. We adapt to survive. Makeup, yes, but so makeup is, you're asking if medieval times people have hair dye or makeup. For the hair dye, I'll have to double check, but for makeup, absolutely. The only thing is that makeup was a lot more used in the classical period than it was in the medieval period. In the medieval period, very light version of makeup did exist that some women used, but in general the Christian ethics and the idea of simplicity for a Christian woman kind of took over the culture. Whereas in the classical period, particularly if you go to the Etruscans or the Minoans, oh my gosh, the makeup was absolutely a thing, and sometimes they use products that were actually bad for you. I guess they didn't know. I say I guess because sometimes people do things. I mean, we know that smoking is bad and we still do it. So that's why I always put a little, I guess they didn't know. Because, I mean, in 500 years, when they look back at our civilization, if we have lost the information, they might be like, oh, maybe they didn't know. They thought tobacco was good for them. I'm like, mate, they printed it on the freaking thing and people still do it. I say as someone who's never smoked in his life. Also because it's a waste of money. Yeah, my favorite cuisine is Italian. Yes, I love Greek cuisine. So from Trader Joe's, we found a section where they import stuff from Greece, and we found these incredible. I'm gonna mispronounce it. It's called spanakopita. I don't know, but it's these like layered sfoglia. How the heck do you say that? I have to Google it. How do you say sfoglia, for crying out loud? Pastry. Okay, I don't need to Google it. Great, came back. So it's like this pastry, flaky pastry with inside, I think it's feta cheese and spinach. I don't know, but that thing is glorious. It is great. And it's not the only Greek thing that I've had. In Sicily, we do have some areas where you can have Greek food, and I've always loved it. I never tried Greek food in Greece, though. So if I already like it outside, I'm sure I'm going to love it. Yeah, this one, exactly. Spinach filled dough pastries. Yeah, I said it perfectly good. I don't know which one of the two was perfect, though, since I said it in two different ways. Spanakopita, maybe? I don't know. But it was so good. So we found these boxes there, and they're imported from Greece. And so I air fry it for like 7 minutes, and they're great. I might have some after the stream. In fact, I still have some in the freezer. It's interesting you ask about Venice, because I'm making a video about it, so I'll refer you to it. I'm making a video about something that happened not too long ago, where they emptied all of the canals to do some maintenance for Venice, and there are these pictures that show what Venice looks like under the water. And I thought I would make a whole video to discuss that and then talk about the beginning of how Venice was built and why it's so special. So it's a video that I don't know if I can make it this month, but very likely I will. Because again, I'm trying to be, due to the fact that in 2 days we are launching the Metatron plushie limited pedantic edition, and that's gonna stay up for 21 days launch. I kind of want to try and get 21 bangers, like good videos. I might not be able to make every single video that I have in mind, but if there is a time when I'm kind of motivated to put in the extra work, it's now. Because of course I'm going to mention the plushie on every single upload. Sorry if that gets a little annoying. I'll try to get creative about it, but it is what it is. I got 21 days to try and maximize the sales. So, and also the percentage that I get to keep from those sales is dependent on the amount of units we sell. So the more that's how it works with Makeship. So the more we sell, the more money I get as a percentage from each sale. So yeah, that's how it's going to be. So I have to do my very best, and I will be mentioning it on all channels, which gives me a lot of space, a lot of slots, in fact. YouTube told me Christopher Columbus was Portuguese. No, he's Italian from Genova. Was Italian from Genova. I wonder why. Well, probably AI. AI is really... I was thinking of making a video or maybe a stream and call in some other creators from the history space and discuss this problem with AI and history, because I think they're draining views. There are so many channels now that get so many views in the hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions, about history, and it's all AI generated. It's AI, the script is AI, the voice is AI, the thumbnail is AI, everything is AI. And often, and the images are AI. How do I know? Well, you know, the last time I checked, I'd never seen a Roman soldier with a gladius in his right hand, a shield in his left hand, and the helmet in his other hand. So once I see that, I'm like, oh my gosh. And these are horrible. The information is bad. It's actually bad. But they even an uploader like me, and I post every single day, plus the live stream, I still can't keep up, because these machines can just, and these creators that don't care, and it's just about the money, of course, they don't care about informing people or misinforming or double checking or value. So what they do is that they can churn out, these machines never sleep, and unfortunately people watch them. And the reality is, and what I'm about to say, it's kind of scary, and I'll read your comment in a second, your super chat, but I wanted to finish this point. What's scary is that from an advertiser standpoint, if you have an AI channel that makes videos, and a lot of those views are boosted by bots, and you literally have AI watching AI, as long as they can put the freaking ads, what do they care? And that's a problem. And I hope that they address it, because it's getting to a point where, yeah, I mean, if they can remove the humans completely and still make money, they will. Yeah, I hate those ugly, cheap AI images. Absolutely, Kristen. It's just, so we need to, I was thinking that we need to kind of form a little bit of human resistance here, at least in the history space. So I wanted to dedicate a live stream, inviting other history creators, and try to talk about this. And maybe it is the dead internet theory, but specifically in the educational space, it's even worse, because these videos are terrible. They don't educate, they misinform. And I understand that when it's YouTube, it's infotainment. It's not exactly educational. It's educational entertainment. I get it. But at this point, they are drawing. I think it is one of the reasons why all of us, because if it was just me, be like, maybe it's on me. But all of us are struggling with views in the history community. And I don't think it's a coincidence that a video of mine, like I used to be able to make a video on Roman shoes and it would get 300,000 views. Now we struggle to hit 40,000 views, 50,000 views, and it's not just me. While all of these AI channels are blossoming and they get 500,000 views, 600,000 views, these views are basically being redirected towards the machines. So I think we need to form a human resistance here. I do really think so. I really do. So I'm kind of thinking of doing a little bit of a council, a round table council of YouTubers. I'll invite a few people, let's see who's available, and we can just talk with our audiences and then see what we can come up with. Things maybe we need to do more connection, maybe letting people know about the notification bell, about checking our channels on a daily basis and looking at the videos and trying to do something. Maybe when you see these videos directly coming from AI channels, clicking not interested, maybe this will help. Trying to send each other's audiences to try boost the, because we need to do something about this, or the AI will take over completely the educational historical space. I love vlogging through history. By the way, I think his kid was in hospital. I sent him my best wishes and prayers on Twitter. We interacted a little bit. He's such a cool guy. He's definitely going to be invited. I mean, honestly, I'll ask Shad to come over. I could ask Scalagram if he wants to. I don't know if he wants. We'll see. I'll ask a few people. Definitely Jason Kingsley will be invited. And we'll do a little bit of a... There is a... Terry, he's a history teacher. He's pretty cool. I'm not inviting Freda. So, yeah, I'm inviting a few people. And then we'll do a little bit of a council. An anti-AI human resistance council. How about that? Yeah, sure. Yeah, vlogging through history. I'll be more than happy. Maybe we can start with that, and then we could do some collaboration. We could do some cameo. What's the word? Cameo? Yeah. I know Shad loves AI, but I think he's into AI art or using AI as a tool. But I don't think he likes the idea that AI is gonna misinform. In fact, having him on the panel would be interesting to see what he thinks about this, because he's Frogan invited. Frogan can't even afford the freaking light bill in a little bit. Never mind being part of that thing. Anyways, yeah, no, so I was saying, I think even someone who likes AI like him will agree on the idea that it's not very nice that he will make a video on medieval swords and an AI bot will make a horrible video on AI sword that will get 1 million views, while his video caps in the best case scenario at 80,000 or 100,000 views, and sometimes less, which is, I honestly think there is a causal link. I think the two things are related. I really do. Because shifts in algorithms happen, audiences being less interested happen, whatever you want. But I don't think I've seen these channels and it's not like, oh, it's an AI channel, but they just get 500 views. Oh, no, sir, they get more views than me with a tenth of the subscribe base. Yeah, we did quite a few reaction to the reaction. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The way Shad, even though Shad's ideas on AI are often attacked and people don't like them, and I myself kind of disagree on some of his points when it comes to AI art, he does use it as a tool, but he doesn't use it as a complete replacement. The idea of an entire channel that is completely run by AI, produced by AI, scripted by AI, even the voices are AI, although then again, in a few of these channels that make debunking videos about me, they use AI voices. I just found out. Not only they don't show their faces, these cowards, but they also use AI voices. One of which is Mr. Imhotep. He uses an AI voice, but I think I found a few others. They are AI. It's not the guy's voice. Yeah. Well, I understand, Francisco Funari, but my channel, being a very moderate channel, unless someone is the only people that wouldn't be welcome, because I would be happy to welcome someone that I disagree with 90% for a debate. More than happy to do it. The only person that I would be like, I don't want that person on the channel, for example, Frogan, it's because they are like toxic and they go beyond a line of decency. That's when I'm like, no, you're not coming on my channel. But otherwise, I don't care. I hate the guilty by association mentality. So Shad is a good friend of mine, so I would be more than happy to invite him. If there is another creator who tells me, oh, I would come, but only if Shad doesn't come, that he can go fuck himself. I'll be honest with you. Because I know Shad wouldn't do that. Like, I know the guy. I know the guy would be like, oh, yeah, anyone you want. He's not going to come and tell me, like, oh, I'm not coming to the show because there is this guy. I know he wouldn't do it. And so it would be on the person to be like, I don't want to collaborate because there is this other guy and I disagree with him. And usually it's political stuff anyways. And we are not talking politics, right? I'm not going to have a show about politics. That would be so boring. I wouldn't do that. But to have a show about the importance of history and AI, if someone doesn't want to come because Shad is there, then it's their problem. Hassan Piker, oh my gosh, I just saw his whole slander about the legal guy. I left him a comment. Hassan Piker is, goodness gracious, that guy. Destiny is a basement-dwelling goblin. Of course he celebrates the death of... I mean, I haven't seen this one myself, so I will not use it against him until I see it. But I did see the way he laughed at the person who died at that rally simply because he was a Republican. And I'm like, okay, but does that mean that you can disagree with his politics 100%? But if you laugh at a husband and a father who gets hit in the head with... No. I wouldn't do that, whether it be a Democrat or a Republican. If it's an innocent and gets shot in the head, I'm saying I'm so sorry for your family and sorry for your loss. That's decency. But these people don't have decency also because their toxic behavior is rewarded with money. But then again, money is not everything, guys. And eventually they will find out because these people, they have destroyed families. The people, their own children hate them. Like they understand it late in life. Money is important. Don't get me wrong. I'm trying to make as much as I can for my children in the future so that they don't have to go through the sacrifices that I had to go through. With that being said, if you focus everything into money and you literally sell your soul for money, everything will crumble down. Eventually, it's coming back for you because you cannot base an entire existence on money alone. It is in poor taste, absolutely, yeah. In fact, it's a missed opportunity, but for them, again, they say it, big amount of views, financial reward. But the reality is that it's a missed opportunity because imagine if Destiny had said, hey, if he said that he hates Trump, he hates Republicans, he hates MAGA, but he could have also said at the same time, he could have said, but that man didn't need to die for that situation just because he was expressing his freedom to go to a rally that I disagree with. If he said that, I would be watching him now because I watch people from all sides of the political spectrum, whether it be center, right, or left, because I want to keep an open mind and listen to what other people have to say, whether I agree with them or not. So to me, it's a missed opportunity, but he doesn't care because I'm not the kind of audience he catered towards, the kind of audience that he likes. And a lot of them are like him. The same people that laughed at and I had to block 15 because I dedicated a live stream to share my thoughts and prayers to the people in Texas. I had to block 15 people because they were laughing for the death of the kids. That's evil. So blocked immediately. So yeah, I stopped watching Destiny a while ago, so I haven't seen this last thing, but it wouldn't surprise me. And I don't watch the likes of Professor Dave. I'm surprised he didn't make a hit piece on me, to be honest, Professor Dave. I'm surprised. I'm still kind of expecting it. I hope he does it, I'll be honest with you, because if he does it, then I'll make 15 reviews videos. I'll make a lot of money off of it, since money is important. I'm not going to be like the guy who says, money is important. So when people make hit pieces like the Freda guy, yeah, I'm making a response video. If Professor Dave ever makes a video, I'll respond. I've already prepared a sketch. But that's what these people do. They make hate-based comment and it makes them money. Hey Ray, Destiny also said that he'll never need P again if he could see the public ending of Trump. I don't know what this word is. I know you're censoring it. I don't know what that means. But that too, it tells you like, what do you mean? Is like, so are you okay if Republicans want Biden dead? Would you be okay with that? Like, where does this end? We go back to the law of the jungle. The survival of the fittest is not, even if you are like a super, evolution, whatever you want, it's not a good The evolution is a terrible way to run a society. And we have gone past it, even if you want to look at it from a secular standpoint alone. So the one with the bigger gun wins. I mean, what the heck? No, it's then you're not pro-democracy. If you're pro-democracy, then it's the will of the people, and the people elect their representative. That's the representative. And if you want the representative to be dead, then you don't want democracy. It's as simple as that. It really is. Oh, I see, Ray Gonzalez. I understand. Well, that guy, I told you, he's a basement-dwelling goblin. That's what he is. He's a goblin. Yeah, I mean, but it doesn't surprise me. That's what these people do. They feed. Their audiences are like them. And so now they are slaves of their audiences. Because now that's the content they put out. They make a lot of money, and okay, whatever. Come visit Israel, maybe we'll meet up for viewers. I mean, right now, you guys are getting bombed. So, I mean, I don't mean any disrespect, but I think the Middle East is not a place where I would want to go until this whole situation stops with all the wars, to be fair. Like, I would love to visit Jerusalem due to the fact that, of course, being a Christian, it's an important city. I mean, it's an important city to all three major religions. But maybe when the bombs stop. You are correct. Not interested. I want to say that common sense should be renamed uncommon sense. I love legal mindset. I think he's great. Plus, I wasn't watching him because usually I get bored with legal stuff. I actually subscribed and left a comment after his clash with Hassan Piker. And again, it's not because of politics. It's because Hassan Piker slandered the guy, lied about him not being a lawyer while the guy is an attorney, which is the step above lawyer. So it's like, come on. And so now, just to show support, I subscribed to him. And I left a comment. He responded. I'll prove it to you. Yeah, he's cool. I think I like... Also because he leaves politics out of it. I don't even know what his politics are. He's just... But because Hassan Piker called him, oh, that guy's just a right-wing grifter. I'm like, okay, if Hassan Piker says that, it probably means the guy is either apolitical moderate or he doesn't use politics at all, because Hassan Piker is like the worst prism of interpretation or something like that. Everyone is a right-winger compared to him for obvious reasons. Even liberals and progressives are right-wingers from the point of view of the likes of Hassan Piker. So just to prove you that I'm not making things up, legal mindset. Where is he? Is he live right now? No, he's not. I thought he was live right now. Yeah. So here we are. And sorry to move you. So which one was it? Twitch has some problem. Yeah, I think it's this one. Yeah, it's this one that I was watching. And then I left. There you go. See, I said you annihilated him. And it was glorious to see. And he responded with thanks. And then this guy as well. So very cool. So no, yeah, he's a cool guy. Cool guy. Legal, I think, is a cool guy. He's not doing anything wrong. He's being very precise with the words, and he was simply explaining the legal aspects behind all of this stuff. And he and Hassan Piker started lying about him. That's one thing I hate when people resort to lying. Freda. When people resort to lying, they demonstrate that they have no ability to attack your arguments. They do not have the ability to attack your arguments. Hence the lies. Oh my gosh, Johnny Somali. Yeah, don't even get me started on that one. Yeah, I don't need the. I think I'm kind of over the Oblivion music for now. Yeah, he's an attorney. He's an attorney. Attorney means that not only is it because any attorney is a lawyer, but not all lawyers are attorneys. He was explaining. So he's like the step above. Yeah. Because if you have a degree in law, you're a lawyer. But if you're practicing, then you're an attorney, at least in the US. You're right. I should make. Yeah, I'm gonna make us. Yeah, you see, that's what I mean, Christine. That's a great idea. You guys have the mentality. I don't. I'm just a guy with a camera, but you guys have the the business. You guys have the marketing skills. That's how it is. I'll do that. I'll do it. I'll make it into a shirt. You're absolutely right. Politics of ancient Rome could be interesting to tackle one of these days. Absolutely. Good stream, you know, for an unplanned stream, once again, thanks to you guys, all of your ideas. We got a really good stream out of it. Very, very fun. What I think I will do, however, is I might end the stream a little earlier tonight, simply because it's one of those days when, you know, yesterday I kind of went to sleep a little late. And so I'm thinking of... moving on to a little bit of a shorter stream. How long have we been streaming? 2 hours, 15 minutes. I had an idea to do a couple of hours today. I hope you don't mind. But I'm coming back live tomorrow again, as usual. Same time meaning, in theory, 5 Central. But then again, I'm Southern Italian, so that could mean 6, depending. 5:36 is the Southern Italian time span. I have my own time dislocation. Anyways, so I'll see you tomorrow. But tomorrow I'll try to have a little bit of a longer stream. Maybe we get to play a little bit. For tonight, I think I'm going to call it a day because I'm sleepy due to the fact that yesterday I went to sleep really late. But yeah, thank you so much for joining the stream, guys. I really appreciate your time. And I'll see you tomorrow. I still have to post on the second channel. So for any of you who is subscribed to Metatron's Academy, there still is going to be a post tonight, later on tonight. And then for the main channel is tomorrow, as usual. Time for a macchiato, guys. Have a good one. Thank you so much for your support and generosity. See you tomorrow, guys. Bye.